Rhiannon Jones, and welcome to Showcase, where we bring you all the biggest and best news in art, culture, style and entertainment from here in London to Istanbul and across the world. Coming up on this week's show, we head down to Choose Love, the charity helping refugees and displaced people around the world as they open their annual pop-up with a star-studded fundraising event. I catch up with the editor of British Vogue, Choma Nadi, for this week's hot ticket at the opening of the Lightroom's stunning new immersive experience, Vogue Inventing the Runway. Esra Durus meets Icelandic-Danish artist Olafur Eliasson for his latest show at the Istanbul Modern. We bring you our rundown of the most exciting new exhibitions to hit London. Plus, with awards season in full swing, we take a look at the films hoping to win big at the Oscars in our weekly showbiz rundown, Snapshot. But first, for the last 9 years, UK-based NGO Choose Love has been supporting refugees and displaced people across the world, raising millions and providing much-needed humanitarian aid. It's created a huge movement of people and boasts an impressive network of star-studded support, including Benedict Cumberbatch, Olivia Colman, Chris O'Dowd, James Corden and Julia Roberts, to name but a few. The charity recently raised more than $250,000 selling a T-shirt designed by Liam Payne, who'd previously worked with the campaign before his tragic death back in October. Well, we went down to the opening of Choose Love's annual pop-up to meet its founders and find out more about this incredible charity. Josie, thank you so much for having us here at your incredible store, Choose Love store here on Regent Street. You've now been going for 9 years. It's incredible what you've achieved as a charity.
You know, we just never take it for granted that we have this incredible community out there who support our work and most importantly the work of our partner organisations working on the ground. I think we never intended to be a big charity. We just wanted to do our part and stand in solidarity with people who needed our support. And it's just grown and grown and grown. And opening this store, this flagship department store, and already we've had hundreds of people through the doors, and it has been a moment of like, wow, Choose Love really is something that's in public consciousness and that people really connect to.
And how did it all start? Where did this idea from you and Dawn Porter, where did it all come from?
So in 2015, we had gone for lunch, and that was when the refugee crisis had happened. So 1 million people had arrived in Europe seeking sanctuary, primarily from Syria, but actually also from Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, Sudan, Eritrea. And we just felt, you know, we had to do something to help. And we thought we would try and raise £1,000 and 1 van load of tents and sleeping bags. And here we are all these years later, and we work in 33 countries. We support over 200 organisations, and we've raised over £100 million.
It's extraordinary. And Choose Love started this amazing campaign, All Eyes on Gaza and Lebanon. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so we've been working in the Middle East since our inception, since the organisation first began. And we, you know, it's a humanitarian crisis that has captured the hearts of people, and it is, you know, in all our time of doing this work, we haven't seen needs so great as we've seen over this last year, and we've raised over £4 million, I believe, for the region since starting these different emergency campaigns.
That's incredible. And where's the money going?
So actually, just this morning, I received an amazing video of a distribution of children's coats, children's shoes, blankets and sleeping bags that was taking place in Gaza through our partner Mulham volunteering team, and that's just amazing to see it. And they've called the shop, it's like a free shop, so people can come and get the items, but they've called it the Shop of Happiness.
Oh, that's
and it's really lovely.
Let's talk about this amazing pop-up store, because I understand that it's actually been donated, this space, this time round by someone very special who really believes in your charity. Tell us a bit more about that.
It's unbelievable. I have to say, we were like, we need a new concept for the store this year. And we came up with the idea of having a department store. And we were like, but how are we ever going to have a space that big? And then Crown Estates have been absolutely incredible and said, can you be on Regent Street at this time? We came down here and were just so surprised to have this huge store.
And testament to the fabulous work that you're doing. The Crown Estate, the King himself believes in your work. That must be pretty special.
It's pretty special. We can't believe it.
You have so many celebrities behind you. Who are the celebrities that you often have to pinch yourself to believe that they are behind this incredible movement?
When Oprah Winfrey wore the t-shirt, I couldn't believe it. Harry Styles has been a supporter, Dua Lipa. I mean, we're just so absolutely so lucky. Cynthia Erivo has supported us. I mean, yeah.
And Liam Payne designed a t-shirt, and the proceeds, the money being made from that, all going to a very good cause, testament to what a good person he was.
So, such an amazing person, and that t-shirt was so incredible when we had it for sale, and we were so grateful to him, and he designed it. He really wanted to support displaced people, and then, you know, after his tragic passing, his fans have just bought it, and it's raised over £300,000.
And a wonderful memory.
Yeah,
wonderful
really,
person.
it's like an angel.
Yeah. Dawn, thank you so much for having us here at your Choose Love department store. What an incredible store it is this year. Are you surprised by how many people that have got behind this charity of yours that has become such a successful movement?
I am surprised, and I certainly was when we started out, because it was just one of those subjects that people just didn't seem to be talking about or really engaging with. And so when we started, we used to be called Help Refugees, very, you know, say it as it is title, and people were like, yeah, I want to do that. I want to help refugees and get these people what they need and help them along their way. And so right from the start, I was like, great, okay, brilliant. Well, we can help you help, and you know, you support us, and we will get it to where it's supposed to go.
Just quickly take us through what's going on here, because you have this incredible pledge where people can buy, for example, reuniting a family for £40. I mean, it's just such a lovely idea, and like you say, it taps into the soul, doesn't it?
It does. Well, the reason why I think this has been so successful at Christmas time is because people can come in, everything's laid out, so that if you want to feed people, if you want to keep people warm in the winter, if you want to pay for legal support for somebody, if you want to contribute towards, you know, lifeboat rescue, whatever your area of interest is, you can come into the shop and buy something very specific in that area that we will then get to that very specific, you know, need. And I think that's what people love about it. And I think what we offer is just a really engaging way to be able to help. And I think that's why we get so much support. And every time I walk into one of the Choose Love shops, I'm like, this is a symbol of how much people care. Because the only way that this exists is, firstly, the donation of the premises themselves, and then with this constant stream of footfall of people coming in because they want to do something to help. And so it's really happy here, and it's a really lovely place to be, but it is just so emotional because it just doesn't exist without people's support.
Including the celebrities.
Yeah.
We have an incredible amount of celebrities that have backed you and behind you and rooting for you and supporting you.
One thing that really blew me away actually was I went to see Florence at the Hollywood Bowl 2-3 years ago, and she had given, I think it was £1 from every ticket sale to Choose Love on her American tour. And I walked into the Hollywood Bowl without realising this was going to be the case, and Choose Love was just up on the screens, and I was like, this is massive. It's so unbelievably generous of her to do that. And so those are real, like, take your breath away moments of support.
Plenty of moments. And your husband, Chris O'Dowd.
Yeah.
A constant support as well.
He's a great supporter, yeah. He's really good in the shop. He comes and
volunteers.
Yeah, he comes and volunteers every year, and he'll stand outside with the Choose Love shop and just get people in. It's great.
Well, it's been a particularly tough year. What's going on in Gaza, Lebanon, and Sudan. What's changed? How have you coped with the amount of need in the world right now with refugees, displaced people?
I think there is such a desperate feeling out there of people who don't know what to do. And so when you announce a fundraiser for, you know, something specific for Gaza or something specific for Lebanon, people are like, rush to it because they want to put their energy and their love and their money somewhere where it's going to actually, you know, be used properly. And we feel that energy coming from people, right? And we feel the people coming to us to say, what can we do? And you know, it's desperate times. It's a really sad world. And what I always think in times like this, when it all just feels so kind of politically aggressive and divided, just come at everything as a humanitarian. Just go, what do people who need help need? And if you just keep that as your thought process, that will keep you on the right track, I think. And I just think the message of love is just so strong. Yeah. And, you know, when we did rebrand from Help Refugees to Choose Love, that's when the world opened up to us and people understood what we were all about. This is like, just treat people with kindness and respect and love, always.
What you're doing is an amazing, amazing thing. This department store, now we'll call it, is incredible. It's absolutely incredible what you're doing. Keep it up. Thank you so much. I've got some Christmas shopping to do in your store. So thank you so much for inviting Showcase down to talk to you, and best of luck.
Thanks for coming.
Amazing things.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was lovely. Thank you.
Thanks again to the brilliant Choose Love. And from an iconic charity to an iconic fashion institution now, as the hotly anticipated exhibition Vogue Inventing the Runway takes over the Lightroom in London. This brand new immersive show explores the history of the catwalk, from the original intimate couture shows of the early 20th century to the headline-grabbing pop culture events of the modern era. I popped down to its opening to meet the man behind the exhibition, David Sable, and the editor of British Vogue, Cho Minardi. Tell us a little bit more about this immersive experience.
Yeah, so I mean, I think Lightroom is a really unique medium. I think it's a new kind of form. I come from a background of theatre and film, and Lightroom to me is a kind of incredible hybrid, which is a sort of theatricality of a show, the inside of an exhibition and the kind of curation of an exhibition. It's got a kind of documentary strand to it, but it's also got this incredible canvas for projection on all four walls and the floor. And I think it's a medium which really prizes a rich mix of media. So to tell a story about fashion, which has sketch, which has photography, which has video and illustration and artifacts and invitations from the shows, it's a perfect canvas for it. So we've had a lot of fun, and hopefully it's going to really transport audiences around the world, you know, through time. It's a very kind of kaleidoscopic and dynamic experience.
You talk about transporting audiences. That's very much what I felt. I felt a little bit like I was experiencing my own catwalk show, which many people don't get a chance to experience. So that's a very brilliant thing about this exhibition, isn't it?
It is, and that was absolutely the impetus, I think, from Vogue's perspective. You know, they said we have access to these shows, which have started as, you know, if you go back historically, we go back to the 1850s in this show. They started as very intimate, private, exclusive events, and they've become these huge multimedia spectacles in many cases. And yet very few people get to access them in person and actually experience them. So we hear in this show, it's narrated by Cate Blanchett, but we hear from Vogue editors, we hear from designers, from makeup artists, from models. So you get this tapestry of voices that provide a kind of insight. And so I hope it's going to really take people inside the shows, the feeling of being on the front row or the feeling of being backstage, but also inside the minds of these designers, because I think what's really on display is the creative genius that you see from so many of the fashion designers.
And Shomi, you've been the editor of British Vogue for around a year now.
Yeah.
What's it been like? You enjoying it? Tell us a little bit about this new role.
My feet haven't touched the ground, but it's been so much fun. And getting to do things like this project with my colleagues is just incredible. And hopefully we can bring people closer to the world of fashion, because that's what's the most exciting thing about the work I do, is that I get to share the world of fashion with the people outside of the world of fashion.
So what makes this immersive experience so special? Because you really do feel like you're living and breathing it, don't you?
You see the kind of scale of some of these shows, especially the bigger, more fantastical productions. When I think about what Karl Lagerfeld did for Chanel and launching a rocket ship in the middle of the runway. And you get to see that here from all angles.
Is there any limit, do you think? Where does it go next? Because everything seems to be done already. So
Yeah, I wonder where AI will take us. I think we saw some really innovative presentations in the pandemic. Jonathan Anderson did a show in a box, which you see in this show, which was pretty innovative and thinking outside of the box. I think about Moschino and Jeremy Scott, who did a show with marionettes that went viral.
Yeah.
So I think there's lots you can do, and some of the shows that I've been to, they haven't always been those big productions. Some of them are the more intimate shows that stay with you, or the shows that bring people's community in. When I think about Martine Rose, a designer here in London who showed on a street in Camden, she really brought her community into the space, and it wasn't just about the fashion world and the fashion insiders. It was really about the people who are part of her world, and I think that's always very exciting.
And Shomi, you're the first black woman to be the editor of British Vogue. Do you think that the industry is improving when it comes to diversity finally?
I think we've made some strides, and I hope that I can be an example of that. But there's lots more work to be done, and the fashion industry, as we've seen, isn't necessarily always great at appointing women, appointing people of colour. It's something that we have to hold the industry to account. But I do think there's awareness now, and there's an open dialogue about it, and that for me makes me feel hopeful.
Really appreciate your time. Congratulations and best of luck with your relatively new role. That's fantastic, and I hope many people come and visit it.
Thank you.
Thank
so
you,
lovely.
Shomi. Lovely to meet you too. A stunning sensory insight there into the fashion of the runway. And staying with exhibitions, time now for this week's top 5 with our rundown of some of the most creative currently showing in London. At number 5, the Bat is back with Batman Unmasked. Fans of the Caped Crusader get to explore a never-before-seen collection of original props, vehicles and costumes from the famous movie franchise across 9 themed rooms from the Wayne Manor Library to the Batcave itself. At number 4, the Friends Experience, where you can immerse yourself in everyone's favourite TV show. Here you can visit Central Perk, dance in front of the famous Friends fountain, peek through that iconic purple door, or even play football at Joey and Chandler's place. At number 3, it's Formula One The Experience, and having just been extended well into next year due to popular demand, this immersive tour at London's ExCeL takes you on a journey through the world of F1 racing. It's full of contributions from its greatest teams and drivers, with anecdotes, helmets, equipment and chassis. And if you're a petrol head, well, this is the experience for you. At number 2, it's Marilyn the Exhibition, where you can get a rare glimpse into the private world of the timeless Hollywood icon. It promises to reveal a fascinating insight into the life and legacy of Marilyn Monroe. With over 250 of her possessions on display, from love letters to makeup, clothes, and even her curlers, peroxide blonde hair still in situ. And at number 1, it's the world of Tim Burton. This brand new exhibition at the London Design Museum invites visitors into the fantastical world of the visionary behind smash hit movies Beetlejuice, Edward Scissorhands, The Nightmare Before Christmas, and many more. The experience is drawn from Tim Burton's personal archive of distinctive characters and worlds that he's created over the past 4 decades, and promises to be a deep dive into the mind of a cinematic genius. We hope that gives you some exhibition inspiration. Right, let's head over to Esra at the Istanbul Modern now for this week's In Focus.
Thank you, Rhiannon. I'm now with Olafur Eliasson, Danish-Icelandic artist who tackles issues around environment, climate change, sustainability, and architecture. Olafur Eliasson, welcome to Showcase and congratulations on your first solo exhibition here in Istanbul, Turkey.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to open the show today.
So let's get started with this very artwork actually. What does it tell us? Because I know that you produced it for here specifically, right?
It's called Bosphorus Dusk to Dawn. When I first came 25 years ago, the famous Biennale here in Istanbul, I did not stay at the Bosphorus. I was staying in a small youth hostel somewhere in the back of the city. The truth is also Bosphorus was not really the front of Istanbul, but it was more industrial, it was more practical and more like a working area. And now the city has transformed so much And this transformation of the city to become like full of lights, full of life, and there's a promenade, and the city has become proud of its relationship to the Bosphorus. I find that fascinating. The colors here, and the glass pieces, and the driftwood from the ocean actually is in a way a celebration of this kind of pride in Istanbul of its relationship to the Bosphorus. This is a place where you can learn a lot. I come here as a visitor to take. I am, of course, here to make my exhibition. I'm proud to have a show here, finally. I'm also here to learn and to take again. I have been very interested in geometry, mathematics, in architecture, and so on. And there's a lot of that has been over long thousands of years cultivated here inside the mosques, for instance, right? So it's a very impressive city. It's a great culture from which I can learn a lot.
Do you think this show, which is called Olafur Eliasson, Your Unexpected Encounter, reflects everything you care about?
I think it's very important to say what is unexpected is not always a threat. It's not always a problem. Oh my God, this was unexpected. No, what is unexpected can be a celebration. And this unexpected encounter, I think it's something we maybe forget to treasure. So when I say it in this title, it is indirectly also to encourage people to look more, like look for the unexpected, like embrace that not everything is controllable, not everything is plannable. You know, you fall in love, for instance, that is not something you can plan. I hope what people essentially see when they walk through this show is, I mean, some of the ideas that I brought in and made for the show and so on, but essentially I hope people see themselves. And so when I said this before, the show can be hard work. It's not looking at the work that is hard work, it is finding yourself in the work, and that can be interesting, enriching, fantastic, but also can be a little bit uncomfortable. Going to look at art is not only relaxing, because you are asked questions that might be a little bit inconvenient.
You do it something differently, so I'm wondering about your idea of immersive art. And now we're black and white, as you can see, as we're in this yellow room. Tell us about this and tell us about your idea of immersive art, please.
Yeah, this room here has no color, as you just said. It's yellow and black. It's the same as a black and white photo. This is called monochromatic light, only one color. Interestingly, we actually see more in this yellow light, and that's why we sometimes have yellow light in tunnels through mountains and so on. So we see very well. Being immersive, I think the rule is to not make rules. You can say there is a sense of, or a gesture of hospitality that allows people the time and allows people the needed space for them to create their own experience and to have an artistic engagement.
It's been my absolute pleasure. So nice to meet you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Showcase once again.
Thank you also. Thank you so much. I look forward to next time.
Thank you, Estra. Time now for our entertainment news roundup, Snapshot. Awards season is officially up and running, and with the announcement of Conan O'Brien as the next host of the Oscars, we're focusing this week on the movie's tip to win big. Leading the pack is the modern-day Cinderella story, Anora. The film found success earlier in the year, winning the coveted Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival, and its breakout star Mikey Madison's in the race for Best Actress.
Hello, this is the beautiful Annie.
Hi, I'm Annie.
I'm Ivan.
Jockeying at the top is The Brutalist, which tells the story of a visionary Hungarian architect, played by Oscar winner Adrian Brody, who once again finds himself in the running for Best Actor. Another film generating a buzz is Conclave, from the German director of All Quiet on the Western Front. It follows one of the world's most secretive and ancient rituals, selecting a new pope. It stars Ralph Fiennes, a frontrunner also for Best Actor.
He has to be an imposter.
You look anxious. Everything under control.
Then there's fan favourite Wicked, the untold story of the Witches of Oz, starring Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande. The movie's tipped to be nominated for Best Picture, Best Supporting Actress, as well as Best Director, and could very well be the one to cast its spell on the Oscars.
I don't cause commotions, I am one. Some of us are just different.
And finally, 24 years after the original scooped Best Picture at the 73rd Academy Awards, now its sequel, Gladiator 2, is set for potential Oscar glory. Starring Paul Mescal as Lucius, the son of Russell Crowe's character in the original, the film's scale and spectacle make it a natural contender for multiple awards. So keep your eyes peeled, as it may just win a big Caesar-size thumbs up. Well, that's it from all of us here at Showcase. A big thank you to all our guests. And don't forget, you can catch up on all our episodes on the Showcase YouTube channel. Coming up next week, we'll have more exclusive interviews and, of course, we'll bring you all the latest cultural highlights and trends. We'll see you then.